So it was a wonderful discussion and interview by Mr. Deepak Jain with Mr. DP sir. Now it's the time for another exciting role play for the first time since yesterday. Now we are having a role play also. So I would like to take a 2 minute take 2 minutes of yours to tell you more about it. AFM India is pioneer in bringing in the concept of estate planning in India. We have certifications as certification in estate planning. We are doing multiple trainings in estate planning. FM India has a sister concern called Next Gen Estate Planning. In line with the same, we have our next role play coming up by Mr. Deepak Jain and Mr. Saurabh Bansal, founder of Finatwork Investment Advisor. So the topic of this is deep dive on how to convince a client for estate planning. A lot of our financial advisors believe that estate planning is one of indeed a very important and indispensable part of their advisory services, but they find difficulty on convincing and believing that they should convince client for the same. So I'm sure this is going to be one of a great learning experience for all of us present here today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Dimple. And welcome, Sachin. Welcome to this session. And we have still not talked about estate planning till date. And I don't know anything about your family. And this is the first time we are talking about estate planning today with each other, Saurabh. So let me ask you, start by asking you something about your family. So can you tell us something about your family?
Sure, Deepak, thank you so much, and thank you, Dimple, for inviting me to your conference. And it is indeed a very important, a very critical aspect of wealth management, but it's not getting the kind of attention it deserves. So, very happy to kind of deep dive along with you to understand the reasons. So as far as my family is concerned, I live with my so I'm married. I've got two children, 7 and 1 year old. My wife is working. Even my parents live with me, but they are financially independent.
Okay, great. So, Saurabh, what kind of assets do you hold? Financial and real estate? Just name those assets only.
So broadly, on the financial assets front, I think which would comprise maybe around 60% of my total wealth
Okay,
would be in mutual funds, would be in stocks, bonds, old ETFs, and things of that sort.
okay,
And another 40% in physical assets, mainly real estate.
okay. And what is the holding pattern of these assets?
Financial assets, most of them are kind of individually owned. In fact, all the assets are kind of individually owned.
Okay,
Financial assets have kind of nominated family members. Um,
okay.
yeah.
And physical assets, the real estate, that's also individually owned?
So that's individually owned, but yeah, obviously there's no nomination there.
Okay. Now, Saurabh, how would you like these assets to be distributed after you?
That's a subject I think I had not thought so much. I mean, we talk about talking to the clients, but for myself also, it's not a very happy thought to think about how it should be. But what I would want to would want to ensure is that my family is taken care of. So if I kind of uh, not there, and leave before my parents, so at least they should be taken care of, although
Okay,
they have as I said, they are kind of financially independent, but to whatever extent some support and help
right,
can go to them.
right.
uh, my wife is also working,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I think I am also a significant contributor to the overall pool. So so children's well-being being taken care of, the future.
Right. So, suppose I ask you in percentage terms,
Mhm.
have you ever thought how much percent to would go to each one of them, or you want that entire thing to go to your wife and then to children, or you would like some percentage of it initially going to parents and wife and then eventually to children? So,
I think the third.
what option?
Yeah, the
So,
third option which you talked about, so the portion, should go to the parents. Rest of it to the wife,
Okay.
and let her then kind of utilize that to for the well-being of children.
Okay. Let me ask you a very simple question and a very blunt question to say so. What happens to your assets if you pass away today? So have you ever figured out how would they be distributed today? Well, most probably I know you have not made a will till date. Yeah. So do you know
That is correct.
how would they be distributed today?
Uh,
Now,
I mean,
let me tell you. Let me tell you. So as
sure.
per me, there are four people who will get it equally. Your mother, your wife, your children name. I don't know the name of the children. So could you just name your children?
Archit and Yashvi.
Archit and Yashvi get one share each. So 25% each goes to each of them. Are you comfortable with it?
No, no, I think they are too little to actually take care of it, the children.
No, anyhow, the wife would become their guardian and would take care of it.
Correct.
But still, would you like that entire thing to be divided between maybe your mother and father jointly and your wife?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and that too in a different proportion, not a equal share to each one of them.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
So that is one concern which you should have, that what you desire with your estate might not happen after you if things remain as such, right? Second question which I need to ask you is the nominations in these financial assets, especially, are they in sync with how you would like them to be distributed after you?
So again, a very sticky subject. So I think they were done based on what stage of life I was in at that point of time,
Right,
and they were never kind of modified after
right,
that, right?
right,
So yeah, so my early assets were kind of more in with my parents as the nominee, and then
right.
subsequently changed it to
Yeah.
wife.
So although the nominee is not the owner in most financial asset except your life insurance policy and PPF, but still there is a contradiction of somebody getting hold of the asset and somebody actually owning the assets. And we as individuals would not like that contradiction to happen after us. That bank gives the money or the insurance company gives money to X to give it to Y. Why not give it to X only,
Correct.
or Y only, right? Another question. Your both the children are minor, right? Now tomorrow, if and God forbid, and I'm sorry I'm asking these questions, it's my job to ask those questions. The question is tomorrow, if both you and your spouse pass away, who gets the custody of your child? And who do you think will get the custody of your child? Both the children, and while they are minor.
Yeah, yeah. Again, a very difficult question to answer.
Okay, whom would you
For
like to get? Whom would you like to get custody?
in the first stage, maybe my parents, or in the second stage, maybe my sister-in-law.
But as it stands today, legally, none of them will get it because apart from parents, there is no other natural guardian of children. And after you, if you do not do anything, the custody of your child is decided by courts. But can you do something about it? Yes, you can do something about it. You can create a letter of guardianship which specifies that first give it to my parents, and in case they are not able to take this responsibility, give it to my sister. Right? Would that be a good proposition that you ensure that during your
Indeed,
lifetime?
indeed, indeed. I think something not thought about.
Great, sir. Two more questions, because I need to wrap it up quickly. The- Another question is, what if that you don't pass away, but you become incapacitated for any reason? Now, most of these financial holdings which you have, you told me are in individual name. Now, who would be able to operate these financial holdings if you are incapacitated, unable to take financial decisions, maybe you are in coma, you are paralytic, you mentally unsound, and how will your children, spouse, and parents be able to take out this money and use it? Because even a will in that stage would not help you because you are still alive, and will comes into picture only after you pass away. So have you thought of that situation and have you done anything about it?
No, it sounds a very unhappy situation.
But very possible situation.
Correct. Correct.
The chances might be only 1%, but would you like to leave that 1% on chance?
No. No.
No. So for that, you can create something which is called springing durable financial power attorney, which allows after you, maybe your spouse, not after you, in case disability is there, your spouse, and if she is not able to do it, somebody after her, the second choice. So you can name two individuals at least, first choice and second choice, to operate those financial assets and even the real estate. I can allow a person to put your real estate on rent, take the rent, make a rent agreement, renew the rent agreement. Selling, I think you would not like them to allow, but if you want to allow it, I can even allow that. And the last question in this series of questions, have you considered a situation where where you are on a ventilator? And I'm very sorry I'm asking these questions, I'm again saying that, but my job is to make you aware of those situations so that tomorrow you are prepared for those situations and your wishes are taken care of. Now the question is, suppose you are on a ventilator for more than 15 days with less than 5% chance of surviving, and doctors keep you artificially alive for the simple reason they have no other option. And secondly, the problem is, apart from the pain you are bearing, a part of your wealth now goes to a doctor or nursing home. So, what would you prefer in such a situation, dying with dignity, or, or let me put it very bluntly, rotting on a bed?
Yeah. Very, very difficult questions. Never thought about it, Deepak, to be honest.
But do you have a preference in that situation? Would you like to prolong a life in a vegetative
No,
state,
no.
or would you like to pass away without pain, without giving any pain to yourself and your family members, and let it pass away because there's no chance of revival,
Yeah, yeah. I think I would prefer that.
right? So for that, you can create something which is called a living will, which is also called as advanced healthcare power attorney. And these are those four documents which every Indian should have: a will, a letter of guardianship, a financial durable power of attorney, and a living will. We have still not talked about what happens to this wealth of yours after it goes to your spouse and children. What are the risks involved in giving it directly without control to them? Because sometimes what happens is, you have to protect your wealth after you from people who are inheriting it because of their unawareness of taking care of it, not because of they don't want to take care of it, because they are not so capable of taking care of it, or they are not so financially savvy in making those decisions. Those we have still not discussed. That's another stage of estate planning, which is the advanced estate planning. So I'll just conclude by asking, by this small role play which we did, are you now in a better position to take care of your estate, and are you aware of what the gaps are?
Yeah, yeah, I think these as we kind of started with, right? There's so much of focus, even as planners, we have on wealth creation and wealth preservation, not so
Right.
much, on estate. So I think these uncomfortable conversation, I think we need to have. And in fact, I'm kind of feeling that there are so many things which needs to be done,
Right.
and it's kind of, it should take up the priority.
Yeah, so I do lot of sessions for financial advisors, and by the state of estate planning of financial advisors, I'm pretty convinced that the clients would be even worse. And I always say charity begins at home. So please do your estate planning before you go to any client and promote it, and then show your client that I have done these four things. Have you done it? right? And these are the consequence of not doing it. And most people I know are reluctant starting it, but once this process starts, you will be amazed how people go deep into it, right? So the problem is that initial push, and financial advisors are best place to do it. Nobody in this world can do it better than you, because you are an outside person with no interest in their estates. Your only interest is that your client's wishes are taken care of. And then you tell a client that I am not here only to create wealth for you. I am here to help you transfer it properly so that after you, your family and your wishes are taken care of. That was all from my side. Any questions, Dimple, we'll be more than happy to ask.
Sir and Saurabh sir, for this wonderful discussion. I know it sounded a little odd when Deepak sir were was asking questions like, "Are you prepared for this? Imagine yourself in these situations." But these are situations we are really not prepared for. We never give our time in preparing for all this, definitely because it is something which we do not want at all. But estate planning, the best part about estate planning, it actually makes you prepare for the same. And as the rightly said, charity begins at home. And financial advisors, I've myself been interacting with financial advisors since long now. They're the best people because it's the business of empathy. And clients can so very well relate it and understand what financial advisors are trying to explain. And sir already said that they have no interest in their estate. So I think we should actually motivate financial advisors to take this up, among their clients. So thank you so much for being present on the platform and bearing with us, cooperating with us with our little odd questions, but important ones. And Deepak sir, this topic is of estate planning is always very close to your heart, and it's always a pleasure to listen to these things from you. I know we have made an impact, and a lot of people are prepared after our training sessions. But there is lot more to do, a lot way to go. Thank you so much for being present on this forum, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Saurabh. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.